And I think by paying the fine, you're kind of saying that, yeah, I'm guilty, and I'm not willing to do that, so...
2 days later, on Remembrance Day, Tony Blair also remembered the dead at the cenotaph. He didn't ask for permission, but thankfully wasn't arrested.
You know, when I pass protesters every day at Downing Street, and believe me, you name it, they protest against it. I may not like what they call me, but I thank God that they can call me what they want to call me. That's freedom.
So why ban protest outside Parliament?
It's been described, including by me, as a sledgehammer to crack a nut, but where you have a nut, you sometimes need a sledgehammer, and here's a tough nut.
This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get. This is what you'll get when you mess with us.
I don't know what they get paid for this dirty business. Look at the time, like Nazis in the dead of the night, eh?
I've given all I can, it's not enough. I've given all I can, but we're still on the payroll. This is what you'll get.
If it had been my intention to be a suicide bomber in Whitehall, I would have filled out the form, I would have sent it in, and I would have got back a certificate, and when the police came to see me on my protest, I would have waved around my certificate and say, it's okay, I've got permission, and then I would have blown myself up. Signing bits of paper doesn't protect anybody from anything.
As a lone demonstrator, as one person needs a licence to demonstrate, we decided, well, what happens if a whole group of people decide to demonstrate individually, but together? And we're all going to go in and apply there, put on our applications, and if the police want to turn us into a bureaucratic nation, that's great, we'll play.
What have you got? Goth Pride. What a fantastic thing.
There's overfishing of cod to green up the war effort. Government misuse of Metropolitan Police. There's a protest about lack of funding for hover boots. And a protest calling for more tabloid newspaper sleaze about parliamentarians.
Can I get my form out?
Oh, my Lord.
I thought I'd apply in blue.
Look at that. Cakes are our weapon too in the struggle for civil liberties.
Absolutely, and I think I do have all the relevant details on the cake.
I think you do. I'd like to see a photocopy of those. Thank you.
You wouldn't take the cake, but you did agree that he'd transcribe it.
What sort of cake is it?
Raspberry sponge.
The Home Secretary now has the power to make anywhere in Britain a protest-free zone. This is particularly useful in Yorkshire, to protect American military bases from dangerous subversives.
You need a seat, at least over your shoulder.
The first people to be arrested under the new law were two grandmothers, Helen and Sylvia.
We decided we'd come here and challenge that law by walking into the protected area of the base.
We have been charged under section 168 of 28, sorry.
And we did manage to get in because although they raised the metal grid to stop vehicles coming in, they had failed to observe we were on foot. So we just walked around that, and of course now they've had to cement themselves in. Serious Organised Criminal Police Act.
No, we have been charged under section 128 of the Serious Organised Crime Act, Helen.
No, criminal. He seemed really excited because he said, we've made history. You're the first two to be arrested, and we're the first two officers to arrest anybody under the Act. Let us all sing together.
But somehow they're more mind games. They're not so clear.
Sorry, Sylvia.
Sun's gone.
No, it's just whatever the hell.
The sheep.
No, it's the...
There's a sheep.
Is there someone at the gate? Oh, dear. But even so, yes, they are more stringent and make life more difficult for us. But, again, the whole point of them is to stop people protesting.
Can I just ask what you're doing?
Good afternoon.
How are you? You okay?
Yes, thank you. We were.
Right, there's no need to... Why has that changed?
Well, because two policemen have come and interrupt what we were doing. We'll give you a
Obviously filming, yeah, but just what for? Is it anything specific?
It's the Olympic Awards.
Is it? I just need to take some details from you all, really.
Do
so
we have
can make
to
sure
give our details?
Well,
Under
yeah.
what section are you going to do that?
To give you details?
Yeah.
Well, we've got Section 44 power to search everybody and everything here.
Does he mean Section 44 of the 2000 Terrorism Act?
So I can search you and I'll take your details down after I've searched
Do you
upon the
think we
phone.
obviously warrant that?
What? Are you in the space for the Section 44?
So he is going to use the Terrorism Act?
We're in the
Power.
field. We're in the middle of a field.
Yes,
we're not
you're in direct view of the base.
I've got my back to it, officer. I'm not
That's
looking
not
at
the
it.
point. You're in direct view of the base. You could quite easily turn around and look at, it's there in front of you.
I do that. I know,
Right.
They're
I've given you the reason. I'm not going to get into a discussion about it. It's up to you. Would you like to give me your details or not?
What do you want to know?
Your name, your address and your date of birth.
Do we have amnesia?
Just take your details down.
The police have used the Terrorism Act to stop and search over 100,000 people,
Have your first names at the very least.
though none of them were actually terrorists.
No. Well, fair enough. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck with your Olympic event.
Thank you
It was
very
nice
much.
to speak to you all.
Do you see what I mean? We didn't give our names. And that's what most people think. They have to conform with it. And yet they have to have a reason for asking us. Civil liberties and the rights that we sort of have in this country have been built up because people have been willing to suffer in order to gain their civil rights. And it's been ordinary people who've done that.
In the early 20th century, the suffragettes felt that civil disobedience was the only way to get their message across. It worked. In the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher introduced the poll tax to Britain. This got a few people's backs up, and as a result, the poll tax was scrapped. If the government stops listening, people might go to any lengths to make themselves heard.
Climate change is the biggest issue we face. The aviation industry is the fastest growing polluter, so we wanted to do a peaceful protest.
It wasn't like we weren't shouting at the police, we weren't doing anything aggressive. But to me it is very important that our daughters didn't do anything to put anybody in any danger.
Two more. Sorry, Roddy.
I'm a Christian minister, some of you might not be, so just focus on something that's important to you, something you think is beautiful, something of value. Hang on to that just for one moment, and with your head down so it looks like you're praying.
On an unused taxiway at East Midlands Airport, Reverend Malcolm Carroll held a service of remembrance for all the people who had died that year from climate change.
And then they sent a hostage negotiator over.
But you didn't have any hostages?
No!
They were kept on the taxiway for 4 hours with an armed response team standing by. Then taken to a detention centre, held for a day and a half, and weren't allowed to call their parents.
Of course, they were held in solitary confinement for those 36 hours, all separately, in separate police cells.
Obviously I was in the cells at the time, but my son was at home. He was woken by loud banging and the words police at 2:45 in the morning. Went downstairs, he thinks one of the officers had a gun.
How many police?
5. And again, it's something that, as a parent, now, obviously I didn't want to inflict that on my family,
the police themselves at the front line are getting caught up in this atmosphere.